Welcome back. In the previous class, I have defined the notion of Laplace transform. So suppose that I have some function called ft, then I can define Laplace transform using this notion. So Laplace transform of ft can be defined like this 0 to infinity, and ft e power minus st and dt. And for our engineering problem, we have taken integral from 0 minus to infinity. And what we have observed from this particular definition, that a function ft may not have a Laplace transform. For ft to have a Laplace transform, this integral, that is 0 to infinity ft e power minus st, must converge to a finite value. So in some case we may have Laplace transform, and in some other classes of function it might possible we have no Laplace transform. So let us see some example. So suppose I am going to talk about example of some functions. So if you try to calculate the Laplace transform of 1 by t, then it is possible to show that this particular function 1 by t doesn't have Laplace transform. Just by putting here one can check. And similarly another example is like this, e power t square. So these two function, neither this function 1 by t nor the function e power t square have Lyapunov have Laplace transform. So you may be curious that for what class of function ft we have able to give guarantee that there exists some kind of Laplace transform. And we are talking about some kind of condition on ft which will gives guarantee that if that function will belongs to that particular class, then there always exists the Laplace transform. And that condition today I am going to share. So that is also called sufficient condition, and I will tell you that why I am telling sufficient condition. So let us write that thing in terms of remark. So remark is like this: sufficient condition basically give some kind of mathematical guarantee the existence of the Laplace transform of ft. So I am denoting like this: R that, and we are going to see that first condition is, I'm going to write using different color. So first condition is f be the piecewise continuous on 0 to infinity, because we are integrating from 0 to infinity. And second condition is f be of exponential order for some t greater than equal to t. So if we are able to choose some function which is going to satisfy these two properties, then at least I can give guarantee that that function is going to take the Laplace transform. So in these two conditions, what we have found that I have two new terminology. So first terminology is piecewise continuous. So first I am going to recall what is meaning of piecewise continuity, and I hope that you have learned during your mathematics class. And after that, what is meaning of exponential order for all t greater than equal to t. So these two terms I am going to define in the today's lecture. So let us start with the piecewise continuity. So in order to see I am going to talk about piecewise continuity of some function. Piecewise continuity. So in order to understand the piecewise continuity, let us draw some function. So suppose that I have some function where independent variable is t and ft is our function. And suppose that if I have behavior like this, so I have some function, and after that I have certain kind of here jump, and after that again some function, again I have certain kind of jump, and I have this kind of function, and again I have function like this. So let this time is called t1, t2 and t3, and suppose that if I am interested in these two interval a to b. So meaning of piecewise continuity is like this. if we take any interval, so here you can see that I have taken interval that is the subset of this real number. That is, real number means this axis is represent some kind of real number. So subset of this real number is called interval. So a to b is called the interval. So let us write the recall that a function f is piecewise continuous on 0 to infinity if in any interval, and that interval I have selected like this, t and to b, there are at most a finite number of points, and I am defining that point equal to tk. Here you can see that I have point t1, t2, t3, and k is from 1 to up to n, and I am assuming that this kind of relation means t1 is less than t2, similarly t2 is less than t3. So I have written in generalized language tk minus 1 less than tk at which f has finite discontinuity and is continuous on each open interval tk minus 1 to tk. So roughly what we are telling that when something is piecewise continuous, then we are allowing the finite number of discontinuity in that particular domain of the function. That is the rough meaning of the piecewise continuity. So we have to first check this kind of condition, and after that I have to check the second condition, that is based on the exponential order. So let us try to understand that what is meaning of exponential order. So now I am going to talk about the exponential order. So let us first define the exponential order, and using finite number of example we are trying to understand the meaning of exponential order. So definition is like this. Exponential order So a function f is said to be of exponential order if there exist constant c and m greater than 0 and t greater than 0 such that following relation we are hoping that is going to hold, that ft is bounded by m exponential function of ct for all t greater than equal to t. So simply exponential order means I will take our function and after that we are going to see that will satisfy this relation or not. So graphically you try to understand like this. So suppose that I have, again I am going to take some function, so that is ft, and suppose that the graph of original function is like this. So this is our original ft. So in order to talk about the exponential order, I am going to give guarantee that this kind of relation is going to hold. Here this function is m e c t where c greater than 0. So you can see that here I am able to identify this time, that is t. So for all time this graph of the m e power ct is always higher than the our original function ft. In other way we are telling that our ft is bounded by this particular function m e power ct. So this is the meaning of, so this figure is basically, so the f is of exponential order. So now suppose that if you have some function, so let us discuss about the some example of the function which satisfy the property of exponential order. So suppose I have selected function like ft equal to t or ft equal to e power minus t or ft equal to 2 cos t. So I have selected basically 3 different functions. First function is directly proportional to t, second is exponentially decaying function, and third one is the cosine function. And it is possible to show that all will satisfy the property of exponential order. So all of exponential order So, and it is possible to see, so that if I select c equal to 1, m equal to 1 and t equal to 0, so from initial point onward I have, for all t greater than 0, I have this kind of relation, so that is bounded by this, and after that I have this kind of relation, and similarly I have 2 cos t, that is bounded by 2 e power t. Now I can also show similar kind of thing using the graph, that suppose I have some function t and this is ft. So in first case I have behavior of function that is like this. So this is graph of t. So basically what we are telling, that this graph is always below of this graph, and this is graph of et. In the same way I can also draw the graph of the function ft. So our original function is e power minus t, so e equal to 0, this function is going to start. So I have something like this, as t tending towards 0, so this is graph of e power minus t, and after that what we are telling, that this function is exponential order because this is always below this graph, and this graph is nothing but that is like this. Similarly I can also see the nature in case of the cosine function. So I have some, again I have some kind of exponential function that I am telling 2 e power t, and whatever our original function, and this original function is nothing but like this behavior, is approximate behavior I am just plotting. So this function is 2 cos t. So whatever example I have taken, all will satisfy the property of the exponential order, and it is possible to show that. I am going to write this kind of things as a some remark. So suppose that I have some kind of function which is power of t power n. So it is possible to show that t power n is always bounded by m e c t, where c is greater than 0, or I can also write t power n e power c t, that is less than equal to m, for all t greater than equal to t. So in another way, what we are telling, that the limit, how basically we are showing that some function is satisfy the property of the exponential order, we have to show that for all n equal to 1, 2, 3 to infinity, that limit. So I have to talk about the in equivalent way we are talking. So I have to talk like this: limit t tending towards infinity, t power n and e power ct is finite for all n equal to 1, 2 up to infinity. So these two things are equivalent. In this way I can either tell this or either I can check this. So using the L'Hopital rule, it is possible to show that this limit is always finite. Due to that reason, we are claiming that this is exponential order. And suppose that if I have, now let us check that some another function. So I have to give some example which will not satisfy this property, then you are able to visualize the exponential order in more careful way. So suppose that I have some function like ft, that is e power t square, and I am going to show that this will not satisfy the exponential order. So I have to also write like this: e power t, and this is e power ct, and this is exactly equivalent to e power t square minus ct, and I can also write e power t and t minus c, and this particular function is tending towards infinity as t tending towards infinity. So for any value of c, this is true. So you can start with any value of t. So I can also write like this: this is true for all c. Due to that reason, we are telling that by the same reasoning, if I multiply this function e power t square, that is tending towards infinity as t is growing towards the infinity, for any s, and so the improper integral, and we have already understand what is meaning of improper integral. If one of the limit is infinity, then we are telling that integral as a improper integral. So that is improper integral, and that is 0 to infinity. So e power minus st e power t square dt diverges, and due to this reason, in a starting of the today's lecture, I have written that this particular function e power t square Laplace transform does not exist. So now let us try to write the theorem, and I am going to prove that theorem also. So, and I hope that you are able to understand what is meaning of theorem, because several times I have discussed that what is difference between definition, lemma, theorem, these kind of things I have discussed several times. So now today I would like to state the theorem, and this theorem is related to the sufficient condition for existence of the Laplace transform of some function ft. So let us try to write the statement. So what we are claiming, that if f is piecewise continuous on 0 to infinity and of exponential order. So we have defined both thing. Piecewise continuity, we have seen that what is meaning of piecewise continuity. Now we are also familiar with what is meaning of exponential order. Then Laplace transform of ft exists for s greater than c. So we are going to prove this particular statement. So let us try to see the proof. In this way you are also able to learn that how to prove something. So first we assume that both are piecewise, means f is piecewise continuous as well as exponential order. So we are going to use these two property of the function f. We are going to use the definition of Laplace transform, and after that we are going to prove this s greater than c. So for any definite integral I can write like this. Suppose I have some function that is ft. So I can decompose this particular integral like this: e power minus st and ft dt plus t equal to infinity. So somehow physical interpretation is like this. We are just removing the zero area at the t, and I am defining this integral like I1 plus I2. So let us try to see that this integral I1, the integral I1 exists because it can be written as a sum of integral or sum of integrals, because this is, we are allowing ft as a piecewise continuity. So it might possible between up to this time t I have finite number of discontinuity. So again I will decompose that integral into several integral. So can be written as a sum of integral over intervals on which e power minus st ft is continuous. So somehow we are telling that if this e power minus st and ft is continuous, then there always exists some kind of finite integral for this particular definite integral from 0 to t. So in if f is piecewise continuous, then always it is possible to give guarantee that from 0 to t I have certain kind of integral. So this integral is going to converge to some finite value. So now I have to check for the second integral. So at that point I am going to use the property, exponential property. So now I am going to use the second property. Now since f is of exponential order, then there exist constants. We have already seen that is there exists c, there exists m, both greater than 0, and after that t greater than 0, such that I have condition like this. This is from the definition of the for all t greater than t, for the definition of exponential order. So now try to see the second integral, that is I2. So basically now I2, so I am going to see the mod of I2. So that is t to infinity. So basically what we are telling that I2 has some integral value. So if I will take the mod, at that time this symbol will come into picture, and it is possible to visualize very easily that why this inequality sign comes into picture. Because if you see the geometrical interpretation of some area, so suppose that I have some function like ft and this is t. So geometrical interpretation of the area is nothing but the area under this curve. So and area is always positive and negative. If we are talking about this area, so this is positive and this particular area is negative. So overall, in order to calculate overall area, I have to add and after that I have to remove this particular part. So but if you plot this particular quantity mod ft, then you can see that now graph looks like this. So basically now I have area, so all area become positive. So due to that reason, in place of equality sign, now inequality sign comes into picture, because this area is always greater than the original area ft. Due to that reason I have put here inequality sign. So I can also write like this, less than equal to m. I'm going to use the property of the exponential order e power minus st and e power ct. So exponential function is always positive function, so I can take it out from this particular absolute value sign. And after that I have m, and here I have dt. So I have m t to infinity e power, and I am going to take the common. T is available here and here, so I am going to write like this, and finally I can also write like this: m e power minus s minus c and t by s minus c, and this is true for all s greater than 0. So now one can see that for all s greater than equal to 0, since this integral t equal to infinity m e power minus s minus c into t into dt converges due to that reason, the integral t equal to infinity e power minus st ft and dt converges by the comparison test of improper integral. So basically what we are telling, that this particular value is less than this value. So if this value will converge, then automatically this value is also converge. And for this kind of things, I have some kind of standard or some kind of fancy name in mathematics literature, that is called comparison test of improper integral. This property in short we are telling. By comparison we are telling that if this integral will converge, then this will also converge, and due to this reason I am telling. So this in turn implies that I2 exists for S that is greater than C. So our conclusion is that the existence of I1 and I2 implies that Laplace transform of ft, that is given by 0 to infinity e power minus st into ft and dt, that is going to exist for s greater than c, and in this way we are going to complete the proof. So in mathematics, when we are completing the proof, we are using this box, that is the meaning of the completion of the proof. So what we have observed, that I have two different conditions. One condition is piecewise continuity. So using piecewise continuity, I am able to prove that the first part is whenever we are breaking the whole quantity from 0 to infinity, from 0 to t and t to infinity, so first integral will converge, and after that means converge to some finite value, and using the property of exponential order we are able to prove that second integral will also converge. And in this way we are able to generate the sufficient condition. And now let us try to see one example, and after that I would like to share the story that why we are just telling this condition as a sufficient condition, why we are not telling this as a necessary and sufficient condition or some kind of necessary condition. So let us try to see one example. So example is like this. Suppose that I have to calculate the Laplace transform of ft, and where I am assuming that ft is 0 to, so where whenever t is from 0 to 3, then I have function that is equal to 0, and beyond this t greater than equal to 3 I have something like 2, and after that I am going to calculate the Laplace transform of this. So you can see that I can calculate the Laplace transform like this: 0 to infinity e power minus st, and again ft into dt. So I can break this whole quantity like this: e power minus st, and I have something like 0, and after that I have 3 to infinity e power minus st into 2 into dt. So first integral is 0, and ft is satisfy the property of exponential order. So I can able to evaluate the second integral also. So that is nothing but 2 e power minus st by minus s, and this integral from 3 to infinity. So finally I have 2 e power minus 3s by s, and this Laplace transform is going to exist for s greater than 0, because we have no extra condition. Due to that reason I have written x greater than 0. So for s greater than 0 I have Laplace transform that is given by 2 e power minus 3s by s. Now let us try to see that why we are telling that these two conditions are just sufficient condition. So let us try to write this next thing as a remark only. So whenever we have certain condition, and in order to show that that condition is sufficient, first you can prove that if that condition will satisfy, then our results are going to hold, and after that you can create some kind of counter example such that whenever that condition is also not satisfied, then also we have the possibility of the existence of result. If you are able to find one counter example, then whatever condition we have coined, we are telling that condition as a sufficient condition, because if that two condition will satisfy, then always I can give guarantee that there exists the Laplace transform. But if some function is unable to satisfy that property, that two property, means piecewise continuity and exponential order, simply I cannot tell that Laplace transform is not going to exist. Then we have to check the integral, that integral is going to converge or not. Due to that reason, we are telling that whatever condition, that is piecewise continuity as well as exponential order, that is just a sufficient condition. because I'm going to find some kind of function that the function ft, and you can take this function like this, t power minus half is not piecewise continuous on the interval 0 to infinity if 0 is included here, but the Laplace transform of this particular function t power minus half exists. So you can see that here this function is going to violate the first property or first condition of the theorem. Still we have the Laplace transform. Due to that reason, we are telling that whatever condition of the theorem, that is just sufficient. Similarly, it is possible to show that the function, and now I am going to take different function that looks like this, 2t e power t square cos e power t square is not of exponential order. It is pretty easy to check that this will not satisfy the exponential order, but it can be shown that its Laplace transform exists. So in this way we are able to generate one counter example related to the exponential order. So this particular function will not satisfy the second property, still Laplace transform exists. Due to that reason, we are telling that whatever condition we have stated, that is just a sufficient condition. So sufficient condition means if that two condition will satisfy, then always I can give guarantee that Laplace transform will exist. But if those two, one of the two condition or both condition is not satisfied, then we are unable to tell that Laplace transform is going to exist or not. Then at that time we have to check the convergence of the whole integral from 0 to infinity. Now let us come to our problem. So our engineering problem. So in our engineering problem, what we have observed in the previous class, that we are basically modifying the Laplace transform, and we are allowing 0 minus in order to include any kind of discontinuity at 0, like this, e power minus st and dt. So, and after that, what we are telling that where s is nothing but some kind of complex number, sigma plus j omega, and now we can see that because e power j omega t, and if you calculate the absolute value of this, that is always 1, because e power j omega t is cos omega t plus sin omega t, and after that if I take the absolute value, then that is cos square omega t plus sin square omega t. So that is equal to 1 for any value of t. This particular relation is going to hold. So it means that the integral converges when I have something like this, 0 to infinity e power minus the real part of the s sigma t and plus ft into dt, that is less than infinity. It means that whatever limit of this particular integral, that should be finite for some real value, and that is sigma equal to sigma c. And we have already observed during the sufficient condition that if s is greater than c, at that time there exists the Laplace transform, provided two conditions are satisfied. So basically we are interpreting this as a region of convergence. So let us change the color. So basically, thus the region of convergence for the Laplace transform is real part of s, that is nothing but sigma, that should be greater than some value of sigma c. And one can also plot this kind of things using the complex plane. So suppose I am going to take two axes. So this axis is j omega axis, and this is the real axis. So, and this is the origin. So what we are telling? We are telling that this particular thing is sigma c, and you can also take this as a some quantity sigma 1. So this particular region is called the region of convergence of the Laplace transform. Now let us come to the functions involved in the circuit analysis. So if you see the all functions, that is, we have already seen that in the first part of lecture we have some kind of singularity function where we have allowed some kind of unit step, ramp, or some kind of delta function, and now in second part of course we have allowed the sinusoidal input. So all functions of interest in circuit analysis satisfy the convergence criteria, whatever convergence criteria we have written, that is 0 to infinity e power minus the real part, that is sigma t, and absolute value of ft dt, that is less than infinity. So that will automatically all functions are going to satisfy this kind of property, and due to this reason we have always have some kind of Laplace transform. Therefore it is not necessary to specify sigma c in this circuit analysis. So at that time we are not talking about any region of convergence or a region of convergence, or in another way any restriction on the real part of the S, because automatically all conditions are satisfied for the all possible value of signal we are using in circuit analysis. So using this discussion, I am going to close the today's class. So what we have observed, that I cannot give guarantee that all functions has the Laplace transform, but at least I can make some kind of class. And how to identify that class? By keeping two conditions. First condition is related to uniform continuity, and second one is using the exponential order. I can give guarantee that there always exists some kind of Laplace transform for this particular class of the function. Rest of the class I cannot able to comment anything. I have to recheck whenever some new signal comes into picture or new functions comes into picture. And for circuit analysis, what we have observed, that there is no need to check this restriction, because automatically whatever function we are using in circuit analysis, that will satisfy these kind of condition. So with this discussion, I am going to close the today's class. So thank you very much.